Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back, your movie guru, with another review. This time we're going to be talking about a movie called Fantasy Island. For those of you who don't know, it's a remake of the classic late 70s, early 80s Fantasy Island television series, where the basic gist of the show is that people go to this island that's kind of a magical island, and it gives you, your biggest wishes, your biggest fantasy. It can grant it, make it come true. But a lot of times there's a dark side to your fantasies, once they end up playing out that you might not be aware of. So it's kind of like similar to something like The Outer Limits or The Twilight Zone. I'll say from the beginning that I never watched the original television series. I had heard of it, and I had seen clips from it, just growing up, but it's not something that I ever watched. And I assume that most of the people who would be going to see this in theaters potentially haven't seen it as well. Uh, this has been panned by critics. It's got a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes right now by the critics, and then a 49% cinema score or by the audience. And this one, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I really didn't quite so much enjoy this movie. And there's a few reasons why. So, some of the things that they did right, I think that, there were a lot of scenes that were tense and, that brought some tension and brought that, kind of thriller atmosphere. I thought, the scenery and how they went from different sets due to how they had to portray everyone's separate fantasy. I thought they did a good job with that. But one of the problems with this, I guess, type of format is, for one, you're doing this so much longer after the original franchise, is over, that you're not really going to have that fan base anymore. So I know that, there are people that would have seen that franchise and then say, hey, I'm going to go see this movie adaptation. But, that's, you're talking about 1978, 1980. We're talking about 40 years ago now. And I'd say one of the biggest problems with these is, if you take a series like The Twilight Zone or The Outer Limits, where each episode is revolving around, a new cast each episode, because you're showing that, hey, this cast, this is the story. Each story is a one-off type story. And in doing that, you don't necessarily have to care as much about the characters, because there's a new cast of characters every episode. You're much more tuning into the episode because you want to see, what twist, or, what turns, or what scary things am I going to see today? What's going to be the plot today? The biggest problem, I'd say, for me with this film is that you really just don't care about the characters, and that doesn't work in a movie format. In a film format, you really have to care about the characters, to stay engaged in the film. I can, I'm sure if I thought hours on it, I could probably come up with a set of films where it did work, where you didn't particularly care about the characters, but the plot was that great, or the action was that great, that you enjoyed the film. But much more so in a film than in a TV show, where they've got one-off type episodes. You really do have to care about the characters. That, like I said, and really, I mean, not to say that the actors did a bad job. You had Lucy Hale, Maggie Q, Michael Pena. Uh, so it's not to say that they did a bad job. It's just that you don't see enough of their backstory, and you don't get to know them enough on a personal level, to where you really care what happens to them. To go along with that, I think that uh, it tried too hard to, kind of keep you off guard, instead of, it didn't want to be plain. It wanted to be you know, show kind of like a deep progression, a deep path of, you know, differing things. And in doing that, it seemed really contrived. Like some of the twists that happen, you know, I don't want to give anything away, but some of the twists that happen, it's kind of like, you know, was that necessary? You know, we really didn't need that. Or, you know, that adds another layer to the film, but it's another layer of confusion. You know, it's not a layer of, oh, that really makes it more interesting, or oh, that really makes me look at it in a different light. And then some of the things that happen, you know, you look at it as so cliche, and you know, you can tell that they set certain things up, you know, to really mean something, or, you know, these pivotal moments are supposed to mean something, and then it just completely falls flat because, you know, you're not invested in these characters. You don't have that emotional attachment. And because of that, you know, it just doesn't mean anything. So like I said, the film does get, you know, some things right, but overall, you know, the whole thing falls flat. This is not one that I'd recommend seeing in theaters. This is one that definitely, you know, I wouldn't even say that unless you're like a big giant fan of the original television series and you've been aching for more for the last 40 years, then sure, go at it. For most of us, I'd say this is one you're just going to want to catch when it's on Netflix or one of the other streaming services. This I wouldn't even go out to Redbox and, you know, pay $1 or $2 and get this. This is strictly, hey, I want to throw something on. I don't have anything better to do. Let me check this out. All right, that's my review. Let me know what you guys think. If you think I'm insane, it's a great movie, let me know. Leave me a comment. I love comments. I try to respond as many as I can. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button if you like what you see. And thanks for the support, guys. I'll see you next time.